Hello. In this video, we're going to talk about the hiding spots on the right side of the map. As for over here, we have a singular flower pot, so there's no other flower pots around this thing. If you do see like another flower pot, for instance, right here, then it's fake. Over here, we have a bunch of hay bale tents. As for each of the hay bale tents, right, you see a hay bale at the very top, like that, it's fake. Right? It's possible to do that for all the other tents as well, I believe, right? And so really, you should be able to just speed boost on top of this tent. Again, you can see a hay bale on the very top of this tent, right? And I believe you can do the same thing for this tent as well, right? You could just, jump from there to there, do that same thing. Now also, each of these hay bale tents has an investor spot that you should be familiar with, which is right there, right there, right there, and right there. You should be familiar with that, and that occurs for each of the 3 tents, making a total of 12 possible investor spots, right? So you should be familiar with that, right? Investors will sometimes go there. Another thing about each of the tents is that inside of them you have basically 3 sides, and on each side you have 2 flower pots. So if you ever see 3 flower pots, then it's fake. 3 flower pots in a row, then it's fake. 3 flower pots in a row, then it's fake. Right? And so that occurs for each of the 3 tents. So you should keep in mind, 3 flower pots in a row, it's fake. Now I'm not going to worry so much about these block piles since I actually don't really know them that well. I like that. That was good. I don't know them that well. But there is one thing that you should be familiar with is if you see a hay bale behind this stack, or if you see TNTs over here, you see a TNT in this slot, then that would be fake. That's really all you'd have to memorize, in my opinion. And so really, I don't really know them that well, so I'm not going to worry about it. I like that. That was good. We're not going to worry about these tents too well, because again, I don't really know the blocks too much, because you usually don't see hiders over here. But if you do see TNT in that slot, or a bookshelf in this slot, then you should be familiar with that. That's basically it for these block piles. Right, I'm not going to worry about anything else, though. Right, now we're heading over to this region of the map, which is a little bit more important than what we just talked about, right? We're talking about this region of the map. Right, but I'm going to talk about it from the back of the map to the front. Because many times they're coming from higher spawn, and we're talking about, everything that was, we come from higher spawn, we had, as a hunter, not as a hider, but we had over here, we head to the left side of the map, and we approach it from this direction instead. So I'm going to start from the back and move towards the front. Right? Starting with, we'll start with this tent. As for the furnaces, alright, this is what the furnaces look like. You see a furnace right here, then it's fake. Right, 2 in a row. That's basically it. I wouldn't worry about the flower pots too much, though. Right? You don't really have to worry about it too much. Basically, if you see 2 right next to each other, it's a pretty obvious sign one of them is fake. Again, 2 next to each other, obvious sign one of them is fake. Now, as for over here, you have a singular flower pot. So if you see 2 flower pots all together like this, that would be fake. Here, if you have, notice there's 2 total flower pots. So if you see 3 flower pots, for instance, like this, that would be fake. As for the note blocks, if you see a square of note blocks, then it's fake. If you see 2 note blocks in a row like that, then it's fake. Pretty easy, right? Just gotta memorize that. And so that's basically it for this stuff. Now we're gonna head over to this region. Starting with these hay bale piles. Right, we'll start with these hay bale piles and then go over this building. As for the hay bale piles, starting with this one, you have 2 hay bales on top of the stack. Right? This is actually a similarity between the 2 stacks. You have 2 hay bales on top of the stack. Right? So if you have 2 hay bales on top of the stack, 2 hay bales on top of the stack. So if you ever see 3 hay bales on top of the stack, again, for instance, 3 hay bales like this, 3 hay bales like this, that's fake. Again, 3 hay bales on top of the stack would also be fake. That's basically it. So as for this stack specifically, you have 4 hay bales on this side, 2 on this side. So if you see 5 hay bales on this side, like this, that would be fake. And if you see 3 hay bales on this side like this, that would be fake. As for over here, you could have a hay bale hiding in this slot, right? That would be fake. Right? And that's basically it. I guess you also will sometimes see a hay bale behind the stack like this. That would be fake as well. Now we're going to go over the inside of this building. The inside of this building, you have a few things going on, not a lot though. Over here, you should be familiar with the fact that you can sometimes see a bookshelf hiding here. That would be fake. We have a bookshelf leaning up against this wall altogether in a single line. That would be fake. Over here, you have a total of 3 blocks, right? Flower pots and cake. So if you see like another cake or another flower pot, then that would be fake. As for the note blocks, you see 3 note blocks all together on top of the stack like that, then it's fake. And that's basically it. Outside of the house, right, you have this melon stack. Right, as for the melon stack, you have 1, 2, 2, 1. That's why, actually no, 1, 2, 2, 2. My bad. Basically, if you ever see 3 melons in a row, that's the key part. 3 melons in a row, it's fake. And again, 3 melons in a row, in this case, behind the stack, that would be fake. Right? Sometimes you see like a melon like this as well. That's usually the key idea of this stack. Right? Now, there should be nothing behind the stack, right? No blocks, no flower pots, no nothing, right? Alright, so now that we have this, well, there are a few more other block piles over here. For instance, this melon stack. You see a melon in this hole, and it's fake. Right? Something like that, it's fake. Right? A melon in this slot, it's fake. Right? 3 in a row would mean there's a fake melon. You should also not see 3 melons on top of the stack, so this would be fake. Now over here you have another melon stack. It's basically a total of 5 melons. So if you see a melon like this, right, connecting it all together, right, 6 melons would mean there's a fake melon. Over here you have another melon stack. So right here, another melon stack. Right, you see 4 melons in a row, basically a melon in this slot, that means there's a fake one. And so that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else. I guess if you see 2 melons on top of a stack, that's also fake. Right, another thing you might see is if it's squared off like that, it's fake. And squared off, that's fake. And again, squared off, that's fake. And I think that's it. That's pretty much it. Right. We have another melon pile over here. Right, a melon pile over here. Basically, you have 3 melons on this side, 2 melons on this side. You see a square of melons, it's fake. But again, 4 melons on this side, it's fake. 4 melons on this side, it's fake. As for the other side, you shouldn't see 3 melons. So, for instance, like this, 3 melons would mean there's a fake melon. Also, you shouldn't see 3 melons on top of the stack, for instance, like this, or like this, right? This would be fake. 3 melons on top of the stack would mean there's a fake melon. That covers basically all the block piles. Also, there's a TNT stack I should just quickly go over. Pretty easy stack. Again, square, it's fake. Really, 4 TNT all grouped together would mean there's a fake TNT. It's pretty easy. You should never be a TNT on top of it either. Pretty easy for the TNT. And now we're just going to go over the insides of each of these buildings. Right, as for the insides of the buildings, right, we have sometimes a bookshelf hiding up right here, so let's see 3 in a row means it's a big one. And that's basically it. As for over here, let's see if I can remember anything. Again, full line of blocks, square bookshelves, that would be fake. Right? I guess if you see a furnace like next to these 2 furnaces, it's fake. That's basically it. There should only be 1 cake here. Just to give you some memorization practice, right? Sometimes you'll find hiders behind this thing right here. Right? And continuing going, we have 1 more building on the right side of the map, which is this building. Right? Again, sort of like the bookshelf, we see a furnace at this side of the room, like that, it's fake. As for bookshelves, it's just a total of 4 bookshelves. So if you see 5 bookshelves, for instance, a bookshelf on the left side, or a bookshelf on the right side, it would be fake. But it also should see a bookshelf between these 2 bookshelves like that. That would be fake. That's basically it. And so I think we've covered basically everything for the right side of the map block piles. And so that's basically it for this video. Right?